right, so we're gonna head into the 7th rounds here, and we're gonna go a little bit faster. We're gonna go with some of our just one or two of our steals and misses here. I'll start off on. I think the obvious worst pick of the 7th round here is got to be Kerryon Johnson. Justin was not living in 27, not 2015, because I don't think
Wasn't around then.
Yeah, he wasn't around then.
Nope.
But he was living in 2017. Kerryon Johnson has been a non-factor pretty much after his rookie year. In the 7th round, a huge mistake. A Lions running back. Why are you getting better than the Lions? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Get that pick out of my life. Get that pick out of my life, please.
Speaking of betting on the Lions, there were 3 Lions taking this round.
No.
But I actually want to say that, in my opinion, the best one was DeAndre Swift, and he's also a Lion. I think that was the best.
Okay.
Yeah, Marco's sitting here winless, correct?
Yeah, Marco's sitting here winless. Made a
And
couple
he
of
has-
mistakes.
Well,
couple of
DeAndre
picks.
Swift isn't even on his team anymore. But DeAndre
Right.
Swift is the running back 24, so that makes him an RB2.
Low RB2, very
Low
low
RB2, but still an RB2. Not terrible overall if you need somebody.
Yeah.
But definitely a better pick than Kerryon Johnson one pick later.
Oh,
fair.
without a doubt.
That's fair.
Without a doubt.
That's fair.
But
That
both,
could have been a pass.
but both behind Russell Wilson at 7 at 2 in the 2nd round.
That was
Sorry.
without a doubt the best pick of the round.
Without question. None of the other players are any of these players starters?
I mean,
Edelman, you may have been starting.
Hayden Hurst, maybe Gronk. That's
Hayden
about
Hurst
it.
is a starter.
Tight
Hayden
end,
Hurst
yeah.
is the 8th ranked tight end, so a good streamer.
Yeah.
Good if you
You
have
know,
to keep him.
First thing that comes to mind for me when I see Russell Wilson taking the 2nd pick of the 7th round, it's looking at teams like, obviously Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 quarterback, but, Steve's team taking him in the 2nd round. Jack, taking Lamar in the 2nd round. Imagine waiting till round 7-ish, getting a guy like Russ, right? You get a guy like Russ there at 7, you could take a guy that's going to contribute in round 2. That's definitely something to think about if you're a team like that. But you want to throw praise to Mondo for waiting until round 7. He made a great pick. He made a great quarterback pick at 7. Russ is perennial MVP candidate at this point. This is a round that was full of lots of duds, but at this point, that's the number 1 pick in the round for me.
You have 2 teams that are probably not going to make the playoffs, and Steve and Jack, like you said. And you have 1 team who's most likely going to make it, even though his team is fading a little bit. And Mondo there with Russell Wilson. Rich, do you want to mention anything else in the 7th round here?
Yeah, Justin, going back to what you said with Jack taking Lamar in the 2nd round, the pick after was DeAndre Hopkins, and one can't help but wonder what would have gone differently for Jack if he had taken Hopkins over Lamar and taken Russell Wilson in maybe even the 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
Even Kyler Murray went in the 6th,
Yeah.
the last pick of the 6th.
Yeah.
Any luck of the dice.
And who did Jack Goose took in the 6th round?
AJ Green.
AJ Green, ladies and gentlemen. That's the difference. AJ Green or Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson. Big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Give me DeAndre Hopkins and Russell Wilson any day.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
So you got Tariq Cohen there, trash. You got Russell Wilson, elite. DeAndre Swift, meh. Kerryon Johnson, trash. Jarvis, mostly trash. Evan Ingram, more trash in real life than he is in fantasy.
I would say hot trash.
But, yeah, cold trash is better than hot trash because it smells less.
Yeah.
I would still say hot trash.
Oh, okay,
He's averaging 6.5 points per week.
Yeah, it's not.
Hot.
He's not even stream worthy.
All right.
Preston
Whatever
Williams.
Rich said. Preston Williams,
Trash.
Marvin Jones,
Trash.
trash. Julian Edelman,
To this point, trash.
Younger Slayton, all right.
Bench
Younger
at
Slayton,
best.
trash.
Gronk
Gronkowski,
and Hurst,
Grockenhurst,
usable players.
usable
Yeah.
tight ends.
I want to make an argument for Slayton. I mean, he's, it's kind of hot and cold week, but he's still averaging 10 points a week. He's a good bench guy. You're not gonna start him in the flex, but if you need, bye-week blues kind of guy, you throw him in there, hope that he gets at least 10 points.
Receiver and Tasha Daniel Jones, trash. But Rich, why don't you start off with Deontay Johnson, first pick of the 8th round? I mean, I would argue I would take him as the 4th player in the 7th round.
Yeah. Deontay Johnson, I kind of had his name on my radar, and I saw his name there. I was scrolling through, knowing wide receivers are deep, thinking, I have a good wide receiver core. Maybe I could try to get some trade bait with him. knowing he's a high, he gets a lot of targets, a lot of receptions. So, took him there. It ended up paying off. I did get Hayden Hurst, which is ironically enough the player picked right before him. But, yeah.
DeAndre Johnson's still a solid pick. He has been a quality receiver when he's been healthy.
I disagree.
You disagree?
To be fair, I look at Deontay Johnson and I think of him as being nothing more than a below average bench player. I look at he's had 2 solid weeks. All right. Other than that, he's played in 6 games. 4 of them he had 50 yards of receiving or less. 3 games he had 1 game he had 0.9 points, 1 game of 0.3, and 1 game of 1.1. That is not usable at all. Not usable at all. And he had 2 really solid weeks. I think that's ballooning his potential up a little bit. But for me, the Steelers have way too many weapons. I would not consider starting Deontay Johnson.
Can
anyway.
you just tell me what team he's on now?
Deontay Johnson?
Yeah.
Not yours.
Not mine.
I can say that for sure.
Whose team is he on?
I believe he's on the Jackoons.
He is on the Jackoons. So I want to thank not only God, but Jack for trading him.
So, Justin, can you give me 5 players that you'd rather have with DeAndre Johnson in this round?
In this round? Absolutely.
In this round, then
Absolutely.
DeAndre Johnson.
Give me
5 players.
Give me Ronald Jones.
Okay.
Give me Jamison Crowder.
Okay.
Give me J.K. Dobbins. Give me Philip Lindsay. And at this point, honestly, give me either Zach Moss or Jerry Jeudy right now over Deontay Johnson.
You would take Jerry Jeudy over Deontay Johnson.
At this point, in my opinion. It's close. That would be the 5th, but
No.
I can give you 4 for sure. 4 for sure.
Just no.
Give me Dobbins, Crowder, Jones, and give me Lindsay. For
I mean,
sure.
this
I'll
week
give
they're
you-
going up against Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
He's guaranteed a 20-point week.
Jerry Jeudy.
Yes.
Guaranteed a 20-point week.
You heard it here first, folks.
No. I'm gonna say over 13 points for Jerry Jeudy this week.
Jerry Jeudy is a non-factor for me this year, but it is what it is.
Mondo, you should be starting him this week.
Whatever. But there's definitely at least 4 players there I would take over Deontay Johnson.
Fair.
Chris, you wanna? Can you kill somebody for me, please? Who made a shitty pick in this 8th round here?
Who made a shitty pick in this 8th round? I gotta go with the hospital team. You took Matt Breida. He's averaging 3.5 points per week. He's the 72nd running back. His high was 6.4. He doesn't even have a touchdown this season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if he has over 200 yards.
And you know what? To add to that, Richard, Matt Breida this year, he's been waiting for his chance. Myles Gaskin stepped in as the guy after Kenyon Drake was traded last year. Myles Gaskin's been great up to this point. Myles Gaskin finally gets hurt and he's out. What does Matt Breida do? He gets hurt as well. So now he can't play either. So Matt Breida's been waiting 8 weeks to play. Now he's hurt. He can't play. At this point, you wonder what the hospital team was thinking in the 8th round here, taking Matt Breida, who potentially is the 3rd running back behind Jordan Howard as well in Miami.
The 3rd running back on a terrible offense in that offense.
Jordan Howard was actually taken earlier in the round, ironically enough, by Khalid. Played 4 weeks, hasn't played since. His high was 6.1. He's averaged 4.9. So technically his position rank is under Matt Breida, but I still think that Matt Breida is a worse pick than Jordan Howard.
Both equally terrible picks, in my opinion.
The fact that 2 Miami running backs, when Miami was projected to be even worse than the Jets this year, were taken in the 8th round when last year 1 was taken, that's absolutely astounding to me.
Yeah, honestly, the hospital team could afford a mistake like this because they're a perennial playoff contender at this point. But if you're the Flint Tropics, it leaves you wondering why at this point. Why you take Jordan Howard in the 8th round? Why you take a Miami running back that turned out to be the 3rd string? Honestly, you could throw him behind Philip Laird as the 4th string. Philip Laird's sitting here thinking maybe he's going to get carries this week. He's on the waiver wire. If you're the Flint Tropics, it leaves you wondering, what did I do wrong this year? Jonas Sampson's waiting to take over the reins. That's all I have to say.
And the tough thing about Jordan Howard is he was taken with the 4th pick, right, in this round. Ronald Jones was taken with the 7th pick.
Yeah.
I know we touched on him before, but he is the 13th best running back in fantasy football right now. He's a fringe RB1.
Absolutely.
So to say that Khalid made the wrong pick is an understatement because Ronald Jones was an absolute steal here by Mohit, and Khalid, there's a reason you're a bottom 3.
By the way,
right
former champ Mohit, by the way. Sorry.
former champ Mohit, who beat who?
me.
He beat Dave in the final.
Dave
In the final. Let's not underscore though the rivalry that has come about between Mohit and Khalid. All right, obviously Mohit made the better pick this round. Khalid's wondering what went wrong this entire draft up to this point. It is what it is.
I mean,
don't worry, Khalid. We're here to tell you what you did wrong and how you can fix it next year.
Yes, sir.
Jordan Howard is taking one pick before J.K. Dobbins, and I mean, I would take the Ravens third string running back over the Dolphins third string.
At this point, and he's a rookie, so he's still getting integrated in the offense.
Very much agree.
All right, let's head to the ninth rounds here. Actually, I personally had 3 picks in this round, and I mean, you could say that I had 3 misses maybe. I mean, Matt Ryan, solid quarterback, but James White and Latavius Murray haven't really been factors this season. But I don't think that I had the worst pick in this round. I think that honor belongs to Jack.
I agree. And
once again,
absolutely. If you don't mind me taking this one from there, Raquel Armstead to this point in the season, he's had coronavirus not once, twice. He's suffered 2 bouts of the coronavirus, and obviously, prayers go out to him as well. But for the LaForest Jackoons, on draft night, he penciled in Raquel Armstead as the Jacksonville Jaguars running back 1. I'm sorry. He penciled him in, had him 100%. I'm going to take Raquel Armstead. That's what he said. In round 9, he says, Raquel Armstead, running back 1 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's get him. He grabs him. What does Raquel do? Doesn't play the whole season. If you're the LaForest Jackoons, it leaves you wondering, why did you make this pick? You're taking a guy like Raquel Armstead, obviously to take over for Leonard Fournette in the 9th round. Obviously not a terrible pick, but to this point, it's been an absolute dud. Absolute dud. And, that's after taking A.J. Green and T.Y. Hilton back-to-back in the 5th and 6th. You're putting 3 duds in the 5th, 6th, and 9th rounds.
Let me pose an interesting question first. But let's say the season was just 8 weeks long. Would you rather have drafted Raquel Armstead or Michael Thomas? Because Raquel Armstead, you could have dropped after week 1. You couldn't have dropped Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas would have had to play all those weeks because he wasn't listed as out.
He was questionable most of the weeks.
I personally would have rather drafted Raquel Armstead than Michael Thomas.
That's fair. Michael Thomas has only put up 3 points more, 3.2 points more than Raquel Armstead. And that's Armstead not playing a single snap this year.
And Michael Thomas was drafted at 6 overall this season, and Raquel Armstead was drafted as the last pick in the 9th round.
Absolutely.
So over 100.
Absolutely.
But also, to be fair, we talked about how weak it's been since the 7th round, right?
Yeah.
This is the worst pick since the 3rd round. All right. This is the worst pick since Cam Akers. I'm sorry, 4th round. Cam Akers is still averaging more points than Raquel Armstead. So I'm just gonna say Raquel Armstead's still the better pick.
All right. Let's start with Justin for what's your best pick of this round?
Best pick of the 9th round. For me, I'd have to say it's between 2 guys. First one I'll label is Antonio Gibson for the lights camera action of Kyle Perry. Kyle Perry, I'm not sure if he pegged him as a solid running back for the Redskins, but after the Redskins released Adrian Peterson, there was definitely an opening. Peyton Barber was going to get some snaps, but ultimately they went with the rookie and Antonio Gibson. And KP, he snatched one here in the 9th round. He's a guy, Antonio Gibson, usable as a running back 2 or a flex position. Somebody you can count on to get you solid, double-digit points each week. He's averaging 11.9 points. Okay, he's number 20 overall running back in the 9th round. It's not bad. Not bad for a running back thin class, I do have to say. And you could also talk a little bit about Darrell Henderson from Mondo. Ultimately he's not on his team anymore, but this guy for the Rams that came out of nowhere a bit. He had Cam Akers in the 4th round that was taken considerably to think about as the running back 1 for the Rams. And you get the running back 1 in the 9th round and Darrell Henderson. So Mondo Burger made a pick here in the 9th round.
Yeah, my big thing about Antonio Gibson is with how weak the RB2s were this year. You look at the running backs that were taken before him: Latavius Murray, Alexander Madison, Matt Breida, J.K. Dobbins, even Jordan Howard. All right, these are guys that were, you might take a chance on him, but I don't know. Antonio Gibson he's a standout player and as an RB2 taken in the 9th round after all those misses and running backs that I just labeled, that's a big pickup by KB and a great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree that the best picks of the round by far were Antonio Gibson and Darrell Henderson there. Outside of that, I mean, John Brown played well for a couple weeks. Christian Kirk is in a great offense and is kind of like Mike Evans light. And then outside of that, I mean, taking a handcuff like Alexander Madison is always solid. Michael Hardman is essentially a wide receiver handcuff, but Tyreek Hill hasn't gotten hurt this season. Golden Tate,
Trash.
Giants receiver.
Hot trash.
It is what it is. And then I think we've kind of talked about everybody else.
Yeah,
everybody
solid.
else this round.
Yeah, I Matt Ryan real quick because you kind of trash on yourself, Dave. I don't think it was a terrible pick. He's the 9th overall quarterback right now. That was taken the 7th overall quarterback. I don't think that's too much of a reach. He's had like a handful of bad games, but overall, I think it was a safe bet here. Not knowing what the next quarterbacks are going to do. Maybe with Aaron Rodgers on the board, it wasn't as safe of a bet, but Drew Brees getting old, Tom Brady's old, Josh Allen is unproven still at this point. So, Matt Ryan, I think, was a safe overall bet.
I mean, but would you take Matt Ryan or heading into the 10th round? Would you out of these four, would you take Matt Ryan over Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, and Drew Brees? Is Matt Ryan the 5th ranked? Oh, I didn't even see Tom Brady there.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you rank for me Matt Ryan, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Matt Stafford? That's 6 quarterbacks taking in between the 9th and 10th round.
Going into the season?
Right now. Out of those 6, who's your number 1?
Aaron Rodgers.
For sure.
For sure.
He's the absolute man.
Who's your number 2?
I would say Josh Allen.
You're his quarterback.
I might be a little biased towards him. Tom Brady, I'm just unimpressed with. I think his receivers do a lot of the work.
But I will say Tom Brady's the number 5 overall fantasy quarterback.
Right. Fantasy speaking, yes.
It's a little top heavy. The last couple of weeks he's been good.
So we'll say Tom Brady 3.
Okay, we could say Tom Brady. Yeah, I would say Matt Ryan 4. Even though, Matt Stafford is good, I would say Matt Stafford 5 and Drew Brees 6. Drew Brees, to this point, has completely fallen off. If he's still on a team, which he still is, I think it's time. I think it's time to drop him and move on to another quarterback who's at least a top 15 player. Because Drew Brees is ranked, fair enough, number 16 right now, but he is just not getting the ball downfield. Even when they are getting the ball downfield, they're bringing in Taysom Hill to throw the ball. So I don't think that Drew Brees has any much left in the tank.
I agree.
On this one, Mohit was drafting as a scared Atlanta Falcons fan. It happens. It happens. Matt was drafting as a scared Cowboys fan. All right, so we went through a lot of the quarterbacks here. So we actually had the first defense taking its rounds. Justin, can you talk about the Steelers defense?
Absolutely. Steelers defense. Honestly, when you saw this pick happen in the 10th round, you thought, okay, maybe a little bit early. A lot of times defenses go later on in the draft, but Steelers defense at this point, they've been number 2 in the league. So at this point, Steve made a safe pick. You grab a defense that was projected, as one of the top ones in the league. You get a defensive line that's star-studded with guys like T.J. Watt going out there grabbing you some sacks. Micah Fitzpatrick in the back in the secondary grabbing you some interceptions. It's a solid pick, honestly, as the Steelers defense. It's the first defense taken off the board.
They're actually leading the league in sacks right now, even after their bye, which I found impressive.
Absolutely, it's a good pick. The number 2 defense. It's hard to argue with that pick for Steve. But
I can't hate on it. Who would you rather have? The Steelers defense, a start and forget defense, or would you rather have Emmanuel Sanders?
See, that's where I was gonna go next. To be honest with you, Dave, I saw Emmanuel Sanders as the weakest pick in this round, in my opinion. Emmanuel Sanders playing for a Saints team that has a lot of offensive weapons, but they also have a guy like Drew Brees that's not throwing the ball more than 5-10 yards down the field. So Emmanuel Sanders is a big play guy. He's relying on that, and he has not been able to come to fruition this year so far. So for me, that's the weakest pick in the round.
I gotta admit, going back on this draft and looking at Steve's team, it still kind of scares me. Seeing how he took just about essentially the top players in every
position.
position, yeah. And if he had made a few other trades that maybe went his way a little,
the one, Steve, that I'm talking about.
I think he could have been the top player, and it's a shame to look at his team now and see where it has fallen into.
Absolutely.
So we went over a bunch of the quarterbacks there. I'll pose a question really quick. Would you rather have the Steelers defense or would you rather have Tom Brady?
I mean, it also depends on the situation. Steve took Patrick Mahomes early, second round. So he's not going to be looking for a quarterback in round 10.
Yeah.
Defense, obviously, it is what it is. 1 week they can get you 25 plus points. Next week they can get you negative points. Depends on who the matchup is. For me in this situation, I don't mind Steve taking Steelers defense number 2, or as the second overall defense in the league in round 10. Honestly, don't think it's a bad pick. Tom Brady has been a little bit inconsistent the last couple weeks he's picked up, but for me, I'd take Steelers defense at this point.
Would you rather have the Steelers defense or would you rather have Nyheim Hines, a running back who has had 2 top 5 RB running back weeks, and then also 6 other weeks of top 30 running back?
I'll defer this one to Rich as a former Nyheim Hines owner. Where would you see this one going?
He's kind of trash. He's averaging 9.4 points a week. Position rank is 31. Yeah, it's all very deceiving. He's had 2 weeks of 20 plus points, and besides that, he hasn't reached over 8, including a week where he had 0.9 points against the Minnesota defense, who's a significantly bad defense. The averages are deceiving. If you don't have him on your team because he will break your heart time and time again. Looking forward to his schedule, though. He is playing Tennessee in 2 of the next 4 weeks. It might be a safe bet to keep him on the bench for week 10, see what he does, and then maybe if you have to, on a bye week, start him for week 12, but I would still say drop him. Not worth it at this point. Broke my heart one too many times.
Yeah, so worst pick there in this round, gotta be Emmanuel Sanders. Jared Cook, fine, 10th round, tight end. It is what it is. Lots of good quarterbacks taken in the 10th round.
I believe it was five QBs taken in round 10. That's almost half the league.
That's a run of QBs right there.
Yep.
And then Noah Fant, solid pick, a little bit injured. CeeDee Lamb. I mean, if Dak wasn't injured, CeeDee Lamb would have been a great pick.
CeeDee Lamb better pick the Michael Gallup from KP.
Much better.
But then heading into the 11th rounds, we gotta start with Deshaun Jackson, the first pick of the 11th round.
Absolutely.
Non-factor this season, and then when you consider the pick right afterwards, Robbie Anderson, Mondo just kind of shit on Von right there.
Yeah.
Like
you can argue that Marco did the same with Justin Jefferson as the 3rd pick of the 11th round. You get Deshaun Jackson, then you get Robbie Anderson and Justin Jefferson. Those are 2 perennial, studs at this point. Obviously, in the 11th round, they're high value guys.
At worst, wide receiver 2.
Yeah, at worst, wide receiver 2.
Yep.
Both those guys. But
and to take them both as bench guys.
Yeah.
They were both taken
in the 11th round
to fill their bench, and they're Robbie Anderson. You can make the argument is fringe wide receiver 1 almost. He's the 12th ranked wide receiver. He's top 3 in yards, and if he keeps it up, that's a very good pick.
That's a big pick for Mondo, right there.
Yeah, but let's head to the 2 worst wide receiver picks of this round. Got to be Kyle falling for the Jets, and then myself falling for N'Keal Harry and the Patriots offense.
Yeah, Brashad Perriman, N'Keal Harry combined. Non-factors, essentially, in fantasy this year.
You'd be better off starting a kicker in the wide receiver spot than N'Keal Harry or Brashad Perriman.
Yeah, taking any Jets offensive player is rough enough. Taking the Jets' 2nd wide receiver averaging 4.3 points per week.
Four.
That's
4.3
even worse.
points. Let's repeat that.
Um,
4.3.
N'Keal Harry was a little bit more of a risk with a little bit more potential. You know, you never know what you're going to get with a New England wide receiver. But with Cam coming in, you know, he could have played favorites right off the bat. Clearly didn't. Started off hot, but just hasn't done anything since. So, yeah, back-to-back rough picks for those guys.
And then the 11th round was actually the first round that kickers were taken. And then you have to go at Khalid again here because he took Harrison Butker, obviously attached to the best offense / team in the league in the Chiefs. But then you need to consider that he's not going to be taking that many field goals. You're going to take somebody like Justin Tucker. 2 picks later, and you have a better kicker.
Yeah, you know, you get Harrison Butker taking lots of extra points. The Chiefs find a lot of their red zone scores are touchdowns, not field goals. So, you know, obviously, you know, high volume offense, you get a lot of kicks, but obviously, you know, extra points not worth the same amount as field goals. In that point, you know, you wish you made a better pick there.
Yep.
But in the 11th round, we have I would say that there was 2 studs taken. So Rich, who do you think are those 2 studs that were taken in the 12th in the 11th round?
I mean, besides Anderson and Jefferson, obviously.
Those are the 2 studs I was thinking, but who else do you have there?
I actually like Tony Pollard. You know, he doesn't get the ball enough, in my opinion. Mo picked him.
All right, let's stop capping with this one. Tony Pollard sucks. So
No,
I'm
all right. Just
I don't
listen
know
to me for a second.
There's no
Just listen to me
grounds
for
for
a second.
Tony Pollard being a positive
Zeke
acquisition
sucks.
here. Okay, all right.
We have established that Zeke has quit on the team, but
Yes.
I mean, Tony Pollard as a
Listen.
split, he's in a 50-50 timeshare in an awful
Yes,
offense.
I mean,
That's true.
if you want to segue into something that you can handle here, Marlon Mack by Jack, having played 1 game, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Are you saying Marlon Mack is a better pick than Tony Pollard? Because
Possibly.
I'm on that. I'm on that train.
Possibly.
I'm on that train.
Possibly.
I'm on that train.
Go ahead, Rich.
All right, so to help you guys out, Marlon Mack has averaged 7.1 points in the 1 game that he played. Just a terrible pick by Jack.
What
You
is
know,
Tony- what is
it's
Tony-
bad luck. Hold on. It's bad luck, but also very poor drafting by Jack. Tony Pollard is averaging 4.3 points. He's
And Marlon Mack is averaging 7. So,
But you know what? You could drop Marlon Mack. You could drop him because he's out for the season.
Yes,
You know, so
yes.
it's not that
yeah.
not the worst case scenario.
Marlon Mack's position rank is 105. Tony Pollard's is 56.
RB5 versus RB Majillion.
Yeah, no. Neither of them are rosterable at this point. So just if you have either of them, which I don't think anybody does,
Nobody does.
maybe I'll take a shot on Tony Pollard. Nope, Mondo has Tony Pollard.
Okay. Didn't realize that.
Marlon Mack obviously out for the season, so he's not going to be on anybody's list.
Would you rather have Deshaun Jackson or Marlon Mack? So Marlon Mack for his 7.4 week or Deshaun Jackson for his could have been started over a couple weeks, but obviously
You can't trust an Eagles offensive player, in my opinion.
So we're gonna take Marlon Mack.
Yeah,
over Deshaun
drop
Jackson.
Marlon.
Let me say this: if you have anybody from the NFC East other than Antonio Gibson and
Maybe Zeke.
Scary
Maybe Zeke
Terry,
sometimes.
maybe
Fulgham at this point
yes,
has been solid.
yeah. Other than that, just drop the shit out of them. Amari Cooper gone.
Yeah.
Michael Gallup gone. CeeDee Lamb gone. Tony Pollard gone.
Darius Slayton gone.
Darius
Ingram,
Slayton
all of them.
gone.
Get rid of
Just
them all.
get the fuck rid of them. They're not worth it. Pick up any NFC West because NFC West is through the roof right